Good morning.
Good morning.
Apologize for the delay, but we're glad to see everyone here. Thanking City Council President C.C. Calhoun, City Council members Raleigh and Beard. Thank you all for being here as well. To all the other leaders, Chief Albert, Judge Westry. We've got a lot of people here who have kind of helped put all this together. Dr. Lampley, we want to thank her. But this is something that we're doing today to really address some long-standing issues we've had with our municipal court. Sometimes when we think about criminal justice reform, we don't think about the many ways that the municipal system comes into play in that. And right after we won in 2019, one of the things that we did was we had a transition committee. And the transition committee mentioned to us that they wanted to see us look a little bit deeper, even beyond what I was saying then, I guess about 5 years ago, in terms of what we were doing around municipal court fines and fees. And we had a lot of feedback on that. It was very interesting getting the groups, the organizations, as well as the individuals who have been impacted by that. And so right away we wanted to get going there, but we had to first do a study. And the study was one that took more time than I expected it to take, but I'm glad that it did, because it was one of those, I think, examples of patience being a true virtue, because I'm not sure if we had gone through within the immediate time that we wanted to, if we would have gotten to this point. And we're able to bring in a lot of organizations, a lot of legal experts, and again, people from the community in this process. And I think that made it a lot more thorough, and I think it made it more comprehensive that we were able to do what we will announce here today. And when we think about outstanding fines and fees and costs associated with this, municipal convictions have weighed heavily on individuals and their families. These financial burdens can hinder the ability to find stable housing, secure employment, and rebuild lives. So from our standpoint, it's not about excusing any behavior. It's about recognizing that our current system does more harm than good. And on average, Alabama residents with court debt owe about $2,000 from fines and fees. In Montgomery, this unpaid debt totals an estimated $40 million. And this executive order can potentially waive a quarter or more of this debt. So we believe it will waive at least $10 million or more of this debt, with some of those things having to be taken up at the state level. But the remission of certain fines and fees and costs order today applies to many older convictions, offenses from a different era, and how we address law enforcement. So now we're offering a fresh start, breaking down barriers for those willing to put the past behind them and contribute positively to our community. This order applies specifically to minor offenses such as non-DUI traffic cases, misdemeanor marijuana offenses, those that occurred more than 10 years ago. Debt incurred from January 1 to 2014 as owed to the city of Montgomery from these offenses is now forgiven. People who previously owed such a debt, you can clap. People who previously owed such a debt will no longer owe it. That's what I thought you were going to clap. But no, anytime you're forgiving these fines and fees, that is great. And so we're excited about where we are, but we know there's more work to be done. Now, this order will not zero out balances due to the state as a result of municipal convictions. That's why I mentioned some of these things we can do unilaterally at the local level. Some of these things we have to carry to the state level. And I believe that the state should follow suit in what we're doing right here in Montgomery. And those eligible for relief under this order can request information about what exactly is included in the waiver beginning April the 5th, 2024. So a little bit over a month from now, people will be able to request that information. But this order reflects a broader change in how we approach justice in Montgomery. We're transitioning from a solely punitive focus to one that encourages a change in behavior while mitigating long-standing detrimental consequences. You can do both, and I think in the past, our court system has not focused on the rehabilitative part of it, but more so just on the punitive part of these things. We don't view this from the standpoint of economic punishment, but it is. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. And so for future convictions, we'll work with our courts to offer alternatives like community service, restorative justice programs, and for those facing hardship, flexible payment plans. These are things that we believe really will make an impact on those who want to do right, who have made bad mistake here or there, and ultimately understand that they have a role to play in making this a just and equitable society. And these initiatives will ensure that the financial burden doesn't dictate who succeeds and who struggles in our city. Our priority is certainly safer streets and a more vibrant community for everyone, but we have to make sure that the scales of justice truly are fair and equal. And again, we've talked about that. This is one step, one part of that, but there's still, again, more work to be done. So we look forward to launching a public awareness campaign to ensure all residents know the available options and potential relief from outstanding fines and fees. We're committed to ensuring that this policy meets the needs of our community members and addresses any challenges that may arise. And I'm confident that this executive order marks a turning point for justice in Montgomery. Let's work together to build a city where everyone, regardless of past mistakes, has the support they need to contribute to a more prosperous future. And lastly, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to the Fines and Fees cohort members who helped me draft this order. I mentioned a few of them before, but I will mention them again in totality. Dr. Kathleen Lampley, the interim court administrator for the Montgomery Municipal Justice Center, thank you. Linda Wool, senior long-range planner for the city of Montgomery. Mickey McKinnish, retired senior staff attorney for the city. Leah Nelson, research director for Alabama Appleseed. Michael West, senior staff attorney at the Southern Poverty Law Center. Ellen Degnan, also a staff attorney at SPLC. Anita Kelly, retired Montgomery County Family Court judge. And Eddie Compton, our senior policy advisor to the mayor. Thank you for all doing this, again, along with the transition committee, going back a few years ago, that helped us initiate this entire plan. Later, I'll ask them to join me as I officially sign the executive order. But before I do that, I would like to invite Leah Nelson from Alabama Appleseed to give a few remarks.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be here today, Mayor. And thank you even more for taking this step that is going to mean so much to so many of our neighbors here in Montgomery. I'm research director at Alabama Appleseed. We're an advocacy organization based right here in Montgomery that works to make Alabama a more just and fairer place. 6 years ago, I surveyed Montgomery residents who owed fines and fees, and I asked what that debt meant in their lives. What they shared was shocking. To stay current on their debt, 83% of them gave up paying for a basic need like food or medicine. 64% of them had to turn to a charity to get money or food assistance. People took out payday loans. And even doing all of that, most of them told me they thought they would never be able to pay everything they owed. They thought they would die without paying it. And when I spoke with these people one-on-one, they told me they avoided coming to court at all costs. And when I asked why, they told me about being locked up in debtor's prison because they hadn't been able to pay. Like, those stories were old. They were mostly from 2007, 2008, but these people remembered, and it informed their day-to-day decisions about what was safe for them in this city. I know the court has made a lot of changes to its practices since then. And it goes without saying that there have been huge changes in city leadership, but bad memories stick with people. So I wanna really commend you for what you're doing today. You're keeping a campaign promise that you made in 2019. But more than that, you're taking a really meaningful step to make things right with people in this city who very often feel like no one in power cares if they're okay. This executive order will not solve all their problems, but it's lightening a real burden and illuminating a real path forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Means a lot, I think, for all of us to get past these statistics, but also to understand what it really means to people. When small changes like this from the city level has such a big impact on the lives of our residents. So that's important. At this time, I want to invite Michael West to come up and give us a few remarks as well.
Good morning. My name is Micah West, and I'm a senior staff attorney at the Southern Poverty Law Center. And I've been working on issues related to fines and fees in the city of Montgomery for nearly a decade. The executive order is a recognition that a traffic ticket should not be a life sentence. Historically, fines and costs have disproportionately weighed on low-income families and families of color in the city of Montgomery. Because of unpaid fines and costs, people went to jail, had their driver's license suspended, or were forced to choose between paying a traffic ticket and life necessities, such as rent, utilities, or even medication. I've represented a lot of people in the city of Montgomery, and when I think of this executive order, I think about one of my clients who I met in 2018. When I met her, her driver's license had been suspended for nearly 5 years for traffic tickets that at the time were nearly 15 years old. She was working temp to hire jobs, and she was sometimes unemployed and just couldn't pay the thousands of dollars in traffic tickets that she owed. And because her driver's license was suspended, it was harder for her to get a job that would allow her to pay off that debt. The executive order will forgive about 25% of the remaining balance on her traffic tickets. As the mayor explained today, the executive order represents a new day in the city of Montgomery, and it represents an opportunity for my client and others to put decades-old traffic tickets behind them. I want to thank the mayor today and his team for their leadership in charting a new path for the city of Montgomery, and for the fresh start that the executive order will provide to many families here in the city of Montgomery that are simply struggling to make ends meet. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to thank Micah again for his work now at the Southern Poverty Law Center and assisting with this again, just making sure that it was thorough and making sure that we looked at all angles and all sides of this issue. With that, last but certainly not least, I want to invite Ms. Callie Greer to the podium to share her story. She's personally experienced a debt cycle caused by a court fine and now works with Alabamians to help navigate the system and get out of debt. And so, Ms. Greer, I ask you to come on up and say a few words.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
How y'all doing? Ain't it a beautiful day?
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing happening, ain't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Some of y'all got some folk gonna be shouting when y'all go home and hey, I got some folk gonna be happy. Good morning, my name is Callie Greer, and I'm here to just say a few words about what's happening here today from a directly affected person's point of view. Before I share that though, I want to say thank you to Mayor Steven L and thank you to Alabama Appleseed. Thank you for recognizing the harms these fines and fees are causing folks who tend to be called the least of these. But not for just recognizing the harm, but for doing something about it. Through carefully crafted surveys that I was a part of and helped administer, that were used to reach out to folks that are rallied at the table or even in the room, Alabama Appleseed created a safe space for these people to come and share their lived experiences because of these fines and fees. Then Appleseed brought those lived experiences to the eyes and ears of folks like Mayor Reed, folks that are elected to justly and fairly care for all Montgomeryans and all Alabamians' well-being. So when elected officials keep their promises, thank you, and follow through, we acknowledge them for being that person. Mayor Reed, thank you for being that person today. I'm emotional, y'all. Y'all don't know when you look. It's expensive to be poor.
Say that again.
It costs a lot of money to be poor, and when a burden is being lifted off of you like that, hey, you got to be there. You have to walk in them shoes. You know what I'm talking about? I'm emotional. I didn't know how I was gonna be feeling. I got gone totally outstripped now, but I just want to say thank you, Mayor Reed, for being that person. Cause folk tell you stuff to get what they want from you, and then when you see me the next time, I won't even look in your face. Thank you for looking me in my face today. Thank you for lifting that burden today. I know we got a long way to go. I know that you said this is a small step, but a small step beats no step. I thank you because if we keep on like this, I'll see you in other places. I'm going to be, you're going to be in other positions to help folks. But if we keep on like this, I can change my song from being a change gonna come to a change done come. Thank you, Mayor. Totally out script.
Your off script is better than my own script. I'll take that. And I just want to say again, thank you to everyone for sharing their perspectives and sharing their stories. I think for all of us in government, that's what it's really about. And why we like doing what we're doing, whether it's at the council or the mayor's office, those here in municipal court. It's about really trying to help people and trying to use government as an instrument to do good. And ultimately, that's the goal. We don't always get it right, but when we are able to, we want to recognize that, and we want to find out more ways we can get it right as well. At this time, I want to ask everyone from the Fines and Fees cohort to join me for the official signing of the executive order. And after that, we'll take any questions from the media that you may have for each and every one of us. I'll come on down over there. Now come on in, they make sure they get you in the picture. Some of the shorter food behind you.
Come on, Lynn.
Okay.
Oh.
It didn't fall.
I caught that.
Working outside in the box. All right. Ready? I'm not gonna sign it before you do it, but you up moving. Yes, sir, we're ready. Officially blew in. Now you want me to slide? You have any questions? You want me to slide it back? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Question and answer session.
Okay. Now we'll take any questions, if you have any. This was somebody's. Yes.
What sort of action will
Well, you know, actions speak louder than words. So I think, one, the action was to do the necessary research and study and to get this right in terms of the law and policy, and to show not only what we can do in terms of criminal justice reform to be more punitive, but what we can do, or to be less punitive, but what we can do to be more corrective. And I think by offering solutions, by offering initiatives such as this, we believe that our state should follow suit and look at the fines and fees that are allocated at the state level for some of these misdemeanors and what it really costs our residents, not just here in Montgomery, but throughout the state of Alabama. And I think that they will see the same thing that we've seen. I think they'll hear some of the testimony that we've heard as well about how it impacts people. And I think there are other ways that we can encourage people to make up or to follow corrective behavior other than penalizing them financially.
How does this work exactly? Like, say, for example, I had a speeding ticket in 2010. Would the speeding ticket amount be forgiven, or just kind of the associated fees that kept being put on to the speeding ticket?
So that which is allocated at the local level will be forgiven, depending on what class it is, right? That which are part of the state fees are the numbers that we're talking about. Unfortunately, we cannot forgive, but we certainly plan to advocate to our local legislative caucus that they bring that before our state legislature as well this session.
And is this something that I will have to apply for?
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm corrected, no.
Okay.
All right. So, all right, so Leah, come on up here, Leah. I thought that was the April 5th. Come on to correct me.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. No,
Yeah,
no.
so this automatically forgives the component of
Okay.
old debt that you can forgive, but then state debt, if people wanted to request further forgiveness, there's going to be an opportunity the weekend of April 5th and 6th to come and do that and see what additional relief could come to exist.
Okay, thank you. That's why you got to have the policy experts here.
Right.
Yes.
What kind of outreach will the city be doing so that people who could benefit from this change access all of the good stuff that comes with getting this off their shoulders?
Well, we plan to be very active. We'll ask our city council members to help spread this word through neighborhood associations and through their platforms that they have. We will certainly do that from City Hall as well. And we want to make sure that through these great groups who have helped us, that we work with them to help get the word out as well, and others that have been a part of this process at some step along the way. And then we'll also be pushing out some of this communication from the municipal court itself. So that's what we want to make sure we do, just like we can send out communication saying what you hope when your court date is. We will be doing the same thing, letting people know how they can follow up and find out more information as well. All right. Any other questions? Okay. Well, listen, thank y'all so much for covering this, and thank everybody for being here. Really appreciate all that you all do each and every day. Thank you so much.